And we are doing our cut down right now. And I have been kind of going through Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate for a while, and there's just an extremely large amount to unpack here. Like, are obviously extremely commander centric set, and they printed all kinds of crazy powerful cards, even at uncommon level and some at common level, which was shocking, but they did. Um, so this entire set most likely throws everybody's playgroup deck like up in the air, and it's gonna force you to remake it just for how powerful a lot of these cards are. And I have 155 that I considered good, but realistically, you could probably comb through the set again and be like, oh yeah, why am I not playing this? It'll probably happen. So right now, I'm just gonna cut this down to 10, and just see what the top 10 are. I might work backwards, put stuff back in, because it's just there's a lot. There really is. There's a lot. So let's just go off of first impressions and see where we get to. Let's see. Sorcery speed. No. Horn's pretty strong. Nope. That's good. No. That's actually quite the improvement, Monster Manual. No. Nautiloid is pretty strong. Let's keep it for now. Navigation Orb is really good, but it's not like obviously overpowered. We're looking for like the top 10 stuff. Stuff that's like really, really powered up. That's pretty powered up, but I feel like it'll probably be cut for Robe. I really don't care for Vexing Puzzle Box. Yeah, if you add a whole bunch of dice roll things, it's gonna work. Um, or double counters effects, it'll work. God, it's annoying. Cut. So, let's see. No, we're just cutting away. Okay, so all the dragons are staying because they're all powered up. They're all mythic. They're all ridiculous. So let's see what else we have to cut. No. That was pretty strong. Let's move down. Some of these are weird. Some of these are only multiplayer strong, like Durnan here. So don't get me wrong here. You're seeing me cut a whole bunch of really strong, potentially strong things. I'm just doing it completely based on first impression and memory and power level overall. And most of the time, you're getting it's going to be mostly rares and mythic rares. Just that's how the game's made. There are tons of strong rares. There are strong uncommons. But we're doing a quick, dirty cut, and I want to see what's left afterwards. Because if it didn't strike me as really good, I'm cutting it to see how many I have left. And I've already made it to the sideboard. Okay, so everything's been cut out. And we still have 23 after going through all of that. So let's see where we can cut down to top 10 now. Majestic Genesis was extraordinarily overpowered. It was better than Genesis Wave in like a mono green deck or just high converted mana cost commander deck. Eldritch Pack, target player draws X cards and loses X life or X is the number of cards in their graveyard. So that's an obscene number of cards to draw, or you could just kill somebody with this in a mill deck. So that's crazy, to say the least. It's like, yes, I want to mill you for 20 cards, and now you get to lose 20 life. And if you stack that on top of some kind of they lose life per drawing card effect, you probably just killed them. Right there on one card. Mince and Boo is disgustingly overpowered just because it can be your commander. Like, you're making the creature, giving it 3 counters, and then next turn killing it, dealing 4 damage, and drawing 4 cards. And if you make it bigger, you could deal like, I don't know, 15 damage and draw 15 cards. It's super ridiculous. Tasha. I think Tasha was good. I don't know if she was overpowered though. Draw a card for each opponent. Exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard and put a page counter on it. You may cast a spell from among cards and exile pick cards on it. Oh yeah, it was disgustingly overpowered. It was casting spells for free. Okay. This thing was also disgustingly overpowered because it also, again, because it can be your commander. I would love some errata text saying cannot be your commander, because what the crap. Man. What else we got? Storm King was... Oh, it is a copy effect. A lot of copy effects have existed over time, and they're not really played. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. So you gotta have a lot of mana to do this. Like, let's say you had 7 mana. That's probably not enough. Let's say you have 8 mana. 8 mana might be enough. But even still, so you lose 3 right off the bat, so you have 5. And then how much does your spell cost? Does it cost 2? Okay, well, you copied it 3 times. That doesn't seem that great. So is this card good? Is it a... Yes, but you need an extreme amount of mana, so I'm going to cut it. Oh, this was ridiculous. Each creature you control with a mana ability gets +2/+2. Whenever a creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it. Like, what the crap? And there was something that just gives things mana abilities up above. Tokens you control have tap, add green. So you could play this in this deck, have them constantly untap. Or I haven't gone back through the backgrounds again a second time, but I can tell you that every single background, no matter how mundane, is overpowered as long as you have a commander with background. Having that some enchantment effect always available is disgustingly overpowered. This is also by itself fairly overpowered, kind of ridiculously so. And it's a 2-color deck most of the time because you choose a background. So, yeah. This was really overpowered. Whenever one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, go target creature that player controls. You don't give a crap about that ability. Doesn't matter whatsoever. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, put a +1/+1 counter on Fergrag, Cunning, Investigator, and you draw a card. So, yeah, so whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, that includes your opponent's creatures in a pod game. And if you're playing on one-on-one, that's every single creature that's attacking and dealing damage to them. So 3 creatures, you draw 3 cards. It gets pretty crazy pretty fast. Yeah, that's nuts. And this is actually not in the main set. This is one of the decks. This guy is super powered up in multiplayer, but really weak in one-on-one. So he reduces costs. Just because of the one-on-one issue, I'm going to have to cut him out of the top 10 because Fergrag here is still good in one-on-one. Alright, so I guess the cuts are going to be a little bit harder than I thought. We still got 21 cards. I was aiming for a top 10. But everything here is still pretty powered up. Let's see. Free spells, draw cards and deal damage. Large amount of tokens. Very strong. Could be better. Cut. Very strong. You want to kind of judge things on how independently strong they are. Yes, everything with background is good, but how good is it by itself? I guess technically you could say that, oh, that commander just cut. Well, this background card makes it amazing. Well, like, I'm sure it does. But I'm just judging cards based on what they do by themselves, and this one is pretty bonkers. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, target opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you may put a creature card with equal or lesser toughness from your hand onto the battlefield. So, you gotta keep stuff in hand, alright? But, even so, it's really iffy for your opponent. Like, what does he got? Like, what does he got? Like, as long as you're not out of cards, this is really screwing with your opponents. Heavy. These ancient dragons are also overpowered. Cost 8 though. Yeah, that's a lot of cards to draw. It could be like 10 most of the time. Huge amount of tokens. Huge amount of mana from treasure tokens. Huge amount of counters on 2 creatures. Roll d20. When you do, find number target creature cards, total mana extra less from graveyards on the battlefield. I mean, this is the only reason to even cut Ancient Brass Dragon here is because maybe they don't have a graveyard. That actually comes up a lot. You'd be surprised how often that comes up. So I guess I'm gonna cut Ancient Brass Dragon. Each opponent exiles a card from top of their library until they exile an instant sorcery card, and shuffles the rest into the library. You may cast up to X instant sorcery cards from among the exiled cards without paying their mana cost. Wand of Wonder is really strong. It just costs 9. I mean, yeah, you could hit it on repeat. It's still really good though. Questionable, but the effect is kind of ridiculous, honestly. Whenever crypto creature deals combat damage per player, draw that many cards. That effect is bananas, and it's a green effect. But it does have to hit. Like the dragons have to hit as well. Well, I guess we're doing. What kind of cuts are we doing now? Like everything here is still good. Like we have 19 cards here that are very strong. I guess if we're cutting by sheer power level, I guess I have to cut that because it's requires other activated things. I guess I have to cut that. Horn of Valhalla is really strong. Like you want to do both of those things. You want to make those tokens, and you want to give your creature +1/+1 for each creature you control. Like it plays off of itself. Sheer power level cut down. Let's see. I guess this doesn't technically play off of itself. This plays off of itself. Plays off itself. Plays off itself. Ooh, if I use the requirement, it plays off itself. Cut. Plays off itself. Sure. Does not play off itself. Cut. Ancient Dragon. Wand. Robe. Monster Manual. Horn. Monster Manual? It's 2 mana cheaper though than all the other like free artifact ones. And it mills and you draw a creature. It's really good. I guess you could argue Horn costs a lot of mana, so cut Horn. Let's see. I guess you could argue again Wand of Wonder costs a lot of mana, even though the effect is like crazy. Let's see. Most of these dragons cost a lot of mana, but they're really powered up. Like, the effect is Bizarro World strong on them. Even on the black one, as long as your creature's in the graveyard, it's Bizarro World strong. But these don't require... Well, this one does require you to have creatures. Okay, green dragon, cut. We're down to 11, so we're going to have a top 10 pretty soon. I bet almost everything is a mythic. Yeah, pretty much. We got Robe left for sheer card draw. Monster Manual. And what? There's one more that's not a mythic. Right? I guess not. Okay. Well, we're real close. This went a lot easier and faster than I thought for a top 10 cut down. Just based on sheer ridiculous power level. So all of these have ridiculous power levels. All the planeswalkers. I can't cut them. So this dragon has a ridiculous power level. You could argue Captain Nathorg's power level is not that high. But I feel like you haven't played with that type of effect yet, if you're arguing that. Stealing spells from the top of your opponent's deck is really, really good. Even if it's only 3, your chances are pretty good you're going to get an artifact or a creature. Maybe cuttable. None of the dragons that are left are cuttable. You know what? I think I'm going to cut the mythic rare. Just because while his effect is strong, I don't know. It's a little iffy. It's a toss-up. None of these. Not this. And again, Majestic Genesis is dependent on how high your commander's converted mana cost is. So maybe Majestic Genesis, but I'm not inclined to do that. So it's a little toss up. So Majestic Genesis restriction only if your converted mana cost is high. These are all good by themselves. Good by itself. Little restrictive on Captain Nithord here. All the dragons are good by themselves. Robe, I mean, it requires you to have a creature, but realistically, you're playing creatures. Come on. Monster Manual is also a vast improvement over all the artifacts that did this previously. It costs 2 less to activate and get you another spell. It's very strong. So, if I had to pick one, I suppose the last cut, based on what we have here, would probably be either Majestic Genesis or Captain Nithard. You don't have to tailor a horror deck. You could literally just play him and the effect will be good. It'll whiff sometimes though. And this you have to tailor your commander's converted mana cost being high with Majestic Genesis. But as long as it's high, it'll never whiff. So we're cutting the captain. Okay, and we've made it to a top 10, and we're going to do a quick rundown. Again, Monster Manual is a vast improvement over every artifact that did this effect, like printed in recent memory. It costs 2 to activate it instead of 4. It gives you an extra spell. I can't see any downside to this whatsoever. Robe of the Arch Magi. Incredibly strong effect. I really hate that it's blue because this is a green effect. Whenever equipped a creature deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. This is an absolute 100% green effect. It should not be on a blue card. But blue gets everything. I know. Blue gets everything. That's how it is. I don't care about the equipment for Shaman, Warlock, Wizard. Yeah, that's great. It could cost 1. But I'm tossing this in most decks because of just how ridiculous it is. I don't care that it costs 7. I would like my 7/7 to attack, smash face, draw me 7 cards. And it happens really easily. So I did cut the black dragon just because maybe somebody doesn't have a graveyard. Alright. But we got the red dragon here. Crazy number of treasure tokens. And it's the cheapest one. It only costs 6. So that's a home run right there. Ancient Gold Dragon gives you a bunch of blue fairies. So Ancient Gold Dragon's good. If anything, it's great. If anything, it's stupid powerful just because you can get 10 plus fairies easily. Or you could get 1 and be really sad, but whatever. You're gambling on the higher end. Ancient Silver Dragon, way over the top. Not only are you drawing a crazy amount of cards, but no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Alright. Again, so Fearcrag, Cunning Instigator, it only costs 5. If this is your commander, this is absurd. You throw it down, your other stuff attacks, you probably draw 2 to 3 cards that turn, it gets 3 counters, it becomes a 6/6. If you're in a multiplayer game, I have no idea how many cards you're going to draw. It could be up, I don't know, as it goes around, you could probably draw 6 more cards easily. It becomes even bigger. It has haste. I can't think of anything bad about this card besides it's not in the main set. That is the only bad thing about this card. And just to be sure, we're going to search for Furky here. So, Furkrag. Still got the image gallery open. Let's see what we got. No Furkrag. Alright. So not in the main set. So they're forcing you to buy one of their commander decks to get Furkrag. But if you want him, he's absolutely worth it. If anything, I think he's way too strong, costing 5 mana. Uh, like, that'll redesign somebody's whole commander deck. Or make, if they were playing a previous red-blue commander, they might just completely ditch that commander for this guy. It's literally that strong, and it only costs 5. It's so powered up, it's absurd. Alright, back to these planeswalkers. So we got Elm Minister here. Whenever you scry, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. So you're playing blue-white. There are a bajillion effects in blue-white that let you scry for 3 or 4 or 5 or something else. Paying 5 less mana for your next instant or sorcery spell is game breaking. Minimally, you're paying 2 less and drawing a card directly off his ability, and that's obscenely strong. I am hard pressed to think of a stronger effect. I mean, maybe it doesn't work for your first turn, but I mean, if you're playing at turn 5 and you have no mana open, whatever, but next turn around, or if you just play it on turn 6 and you have 1 mana open, you can start like utilizing it right away. -3 is also obscene because of scry, and you're going to be playing like the highest converted mana cost spells possible in your deck. Exile the top card of your library, create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to that card's mana value. You have literally built-in scry. Okay, let's do a quick search on mana value to see how high you can get. Blue, white. Actually, I actually have to do an advanced search because they are really good at excluding things now. Colorless is auto excluded now, so no green, no red, no black. And we're sorting by converted mana cost. And boom, let's start the search. I'm not doing any other restrictions, and so we're at 0s. And we're jumping to the last page. And here on the last page, at the very bottom, I mean, you can't play Gleemax, but that's a nice thought. So it says, exile the top card of your library, create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens of flying equal to that card's mana value. So whatever's not banned, I think Emrakul's banned, but Draco at 16. Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff here. You can play 16, 12, 13, 14. After like some of the heavy, whatever the highest converted mana cost is, you might want to tone it down though to things you can actually play for the cost reduction effect. Like Enter the Infinite, or let's see what else we got. That's an instant or sorcery. Well, Blink Moth Infusion. I guess you would still play that regardless, just because of the cost reduction. Temporal Trespass. Let's stay on instant sorcery here as we're going back. This costs 10. Sway the Stars. Time Stretch. Soul Scour. Oh god, Storm Herd. You could play Storm Herd. So if it's not on top of your library, you're creating tokens anyway. um, and cost reduction your way with Storm Third Herd for, I don't know, let's say -5 sometimes with a really good scry effect. Omniscient. It's not instant sorcery. Right, instant sorcery. Instant sorcery. Okay, yep. So there's plenty of things you could play that are really high converted mana cost for instant sorceries. And there's plenty of things in general you could play that are not instant sorceries that are really high converted mana cost. So it all kind of works. And then we have Mince and Boo, pretty obscene. You're throwing down a 1/1, it gets 3 counters. Next turn, you're dealing 4 damage, drawing 4 cards. Make it bigger, deal more damage, draw more cards. Pretty obscene, honestly. And it's your commander. Tassa the Witch Queen. If you haven't played with stealing your opponent's spells, you're underestimating how strong this is. So it's just really, really good. Like it would be good in one-on-one. It's even more powered up in multiplayer. It's a little obscene in multiplayer, honestly. And this is the color of mill. You have blue-black. So you mill your opponents a little bit, you get access to all of their spells. And then here at the end of the top 10, we have Majestic Genesis. Majestic Genesis is any high converted mana cost commander. You can play it. And I mean, if we do another gather search, it's literally anything. We're not even going to do colors, so let's just do sort order, converted mana cost, and I guess we'll do type, legendary, and search, and we'll push to the end of the page. And what do we got for multicolored stuff? So we got 8 converted mana cost commanders. Well, let's just go way to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. I care about stuff on the bottom. So okay. So we got Thraxa's Tempest Roar. That's not exactly what I'm looking for, though. I am looking for, let's see, there he is. Galta Primal Hunger. Galta Primal Hunger is the ultimate ownage mono green card to mix with your Majestic Genesis. It's so obscene that this is cheaper than Genesis Wave, and it just hits for 12. Hits for 12 really, really, really easily. Like, it's crazy. It really is. There isn't really anything that better over 12. I guess you could play Emrakul the Promised End, or, well, that can't be your commander, so let's see what else we got. Nobody's playing in-name as 1. Nobody's doing that. Oh, Reaper King. Weird. So you can do 10 for all colors. Really weird. Progenitus. What else we got? Oh, this makes total sense. Giant Dinosaur. Zakama Primal Calamity. I like hitting for 9. I can make everything in my deck cost 9 or less. You betcha. All color, green. What else we got? 8. I guess you could play some of the old Elder Dragons for 8 and get like the color mix that you want. But you really don't want to play something that costs less than 8. If you're playing something that costs less than 8, are you really hitting all the spells that you want to hit off of that? I feel like you're not. So let's just skip down to the bottom. 8. Do we get to 7? Oh, we got to 7. So literally just 1 page of options. I suppose everything in your deck could cost 7 or less, but it would have to be really good to justify that. Like, all the stuff I play costs obscenely large amounts of mana, And that's why I'm thinking just play Galta with it. And Galta's really, really good. Like if I were to make another green deck, it would have Galta as the commander because he costs 2 most of the time. Oh, why can't I find him? Where is he? Where is he? I know he costs 12 and you're here. There he is. Okay, Galta Primal Hunger. So yeah, I would heavily recommend you make a Galta Primal Hunger commander deck and you immediately start playing Majestic Genesis in it and see how obscenely overpowered it is. Like if you want to make mono green commander even better, that's where you go. Like that's the direction you go in. Because reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield, or, this is the catch, or in the command zone. You may put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you don't have to play permanent everything. You kind of can't because you still need to play spells. But, I mean, I already play an Omnath deck, and I can tell you playing Genesis Wave for 12, even with playing a bunch of instants and sorceries, is obscene. Alright? Absolutely obscene. Alright? You're probably only going to miss like 4 times at most. So you're putting 8 things directly into play. And then you just look at your opponents and they shake their heads. Maybe they Wrath of God the board on you. Who cares? This is your comeback card if you're losing. This is your win card. This obscenely overpowered. It really is. And that's it for this video. I will be back continuing that artifact deck because there's plenty of new crazy things coming out for that artifact deck constantly, and it makes me want to go blue. I don't want to cut Master of Ethereum. I don't want to cut Cranial Plating. So I think I'm going to end up doing a countdown to figure out how many artifact lands I can get in a 3-color deck. I want to know because I had all of them previously, and I think that'll be what the next video is on. And I might even do it tonight. Not sure. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I want to get this top 10 in. And God, some of the things in here are ridiculous. Yeah. I suppose if I were to cut this even harder and give you like, what are the top cards? Just based on mana cost. Let's see if there's a top 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Red dragon, yeah. So the 3 planeswalkers, this dragon, Furcrag, and then the red copper dragon would be top 5. Like if you really wanted to know. And if I guess since I'm thinking about this for like what's number 1, like what is the most obscene overpowered card in the set? Let's take a peek around. That costs 6. Ooh, Furcrag, Else Minister, Minson Boo, Tasha, or Tasha. Tasha? Tasha. So number one, I'm gonna have to give it to Furcrag. I think. Let me think a little bit more. Furcrag or one of these planeswalkers. Furcrag costs 5. 5, 4, 5. Tasha overall power level is good but not obscene. Minson Boo power level is high not obscene. Well, I guess if we're judging based on number one, their power level is obscene regardless. But for number one, it's a toss-up between probably Elshminster and Furcrag. I'm going to have to go with Furcrag. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Number one, Furcrag. Best, powerful, most ridiculous new thing in the set. I know it's in one of the commander decks, but it's in the set. I can't even think of how many cards this would draw you in a multiplayer game. Like, somebody would kill this immediately, or you're drawing a crazy amount of cards. Crazy amount of cards. And it has good art. Not always important, but it does. It has good art. I strongly dislike the lean towards planeswalkers as commanders. Strongly dislike. But power level lot wise with limited interaction, I'm going to have to go with Furcrag. And I guess if you really wanted to know, since he's not in the main set, I would go with Ancient Copper Dragon as a close number 2. Ancient Copper Dragon is in the main set, so you can get him. He only costs 6, so he's by far the most powerful of the ancient dragons, just because he's the cheapest, and getting, I don't know, 10-ish treasure tokens is obscene. So yeah, but Furcrag is definitely my number one guy, because haste draws you a bunch of cards off of your creatures, draws cards off of your opponent's creatures who are attacking your other opponents. Really, really good. Anyway, I might pop on later tonight, but we're going to cut it for now. And this has been another episode of Channel 35 HND, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to take a little break, and if I come back, I will be posting on Twitter that I'm coming back. I also have a YouTube channel. Follow me on there. Videos eventually get put over there. And have a good evening. Bye-bye.